All right, welcome. Today, we're doing a high-level briefing on the system architecture of what's called the Reinvention Playbook. Now, to be clear, we're not going to get into the tactical how-to details. Think of this as an architectural walkthrough. We're here to understand the design logic, the core components, and the specific problems the system was engineered to solve. Let's dive right in. So, here's our agenda. It's really a logical breakdown of the system. We'll start with the problem statement, the reinvention flaw. Then we'll cover the operating system, its core components, how it aligns strategy, what powers it, the momentum engine, and finally the outcomes it's designed to produce. Pretty straightforward. Okay, first up, the reinvention flaw. To really get a handle on any system's design, you've got to start with the problem it was built to solve. What's the fundamental issue it's addressing? That's what this is all about. And this really gets to the heart of it. The core premise here is that most reinvention efforts don't fail from a lack of effort. No, the failure point is starting with action instead of structure. It's that tendency to just jump in and start doing things, updating the resume, networking, without a solid architectural foundation. That's the critical flaw this entire system is designed to counteract. This breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got motion without momentum. It's that feeling of being incredibly busy, unstructured action, tactical tweets, but not actually getting anywhere. It's like spinning your wheels in the mud. And the direct result of that? Effort without leverage. You're just burning through resources, burning through energy, and it leads straight to burnout without creating any sustainable change. The system is engineered to prevent this exact state of inefficient motion. So if that's the problem, what's the architectural solution? That brings us to the operating system. And I want to be really clear here. This isn't a checklist or a collection of tips. It's framed as a complete OS, a system designed for a controlled, deliberate professional transition. So let's look at the formal definition. It's a structured system for controlled, deliberate professional transition designed to prevent common failure modes. The keywords to really latch onto here are structured, controlled, and deliberate. The whole point of this architecture is to move away from chaotic, reactive career moves and toward a process that's engineered to anticipate and mitigate those classic failure points from the very beginning. Okay, this is absolutely crucial to understanding the design. What you're seeing here isn't a to-do list for the user. This is the system's internal sequence, its core logic. Step one is always to stabilize the system, establish a baseline. Then, and only then, does it move to clarify constraints and direction. After that foundation is set, it activates visible momentum. And finally, it compounds trust and opportunity. The sequence is non-negotiable. You can't jump to step three. The whole architecture depends on this deliberate, phased approach. All right, let's drill down into the core components. You can think of this as the failure prevention architecture. Each component is like a specific circuit breaker, designed to prevent a very common, very predictable type of system failure during a transition. This table really lays out the design logic beautifully. Look at how each component is a direct countermeasure to a specific failure mode. You've got the emotional reset to prevent contaminated emotional decision-making. Then a reality check to stop fantasy planning in its tracks. The energy audit is there to prevent burnout-driven decisions. The skills audit, that's to stop that default impulse to just start over from scratch. And finally, the results audit and identity snapshot are designed to make sure you're leveraging what you've already built, not erasing your past. See, every single one is a targeted intervention. Okay, so we have a robust core system, but any good system also needs to be adaptable, right? It can't be one size fits all. So that brings us to the next layer in the architecture, strategic path alignment. This is essentially the system's customization layer. And that raises a critical design question. How does a single system adapt to fundamentally different strategic goals? How does it maintain its integrity and effectiveness across various scenarios? The answer lies in these four primary strategic paths. The system essentially has four core configurations. Are you a climber, advancing on your current trajectory? A pivoter, redirecting your skills? A downshifter, aiming for sustainability? Or a reimagineer, fundamentally redesigning your work? By selecting one of these paths up front, the system customizes its entire operational logic to align with that specific strategic objective. It's what ensures the output is relevant and targeted. So we have the core failure prevention components, and we have the strategic customization layer. Now let's look at what actually drives the system forward. Let's talk about the momentum engine. This is what provides the power, and it's designed specifically for sustainable traction. The core principle here is that real, sustainable momentum doesn't come from massive, heroic efforts. That's a recipe for burnout. Instead,
The engine is this daily traction model. And what is that? It's a system of short, consistent actions. The design goals are threefold: create visibility, signal progress, and, this is key, restore a sense of agency, all without overwhelming the user's capacity.
These are, for all intents and purposes, the design principles of the engine. Think of them as the laws of physics that govern it. First, consistency over intensity. Why? Because sustained action is what builds new patterns. Second, signal over noise. It's about making moves that clearly signal progress and intent, not just creating busy work. And third, compounding over bursts. The entire engine is built for the long game, for small gains that add up over time. This is the very core of its sustainable design.
So that's the architecture. We have the core components, the strategic layer, and the engine, which brings us to the final and most important question. What is the value proposition? What are the specific outcomes this system is engineered to enable? The first intended outcome is the ability to regain clarity without falling into panic. This links directly back to those initial phases of the operating system, the stabilization and clarification stages. It's designed to engineer a calm, clear-headed decision-making environment, even under pressure.
Second outcome, the ability to move forward without burning bridges. Again, this is by design. The entire system is built on the principle of leveraging existing credibility and assets, your skills, your results. It's fundamentally opposed to the idea that you have to destroy your past to create a new future. Third, rebuilding momentum without burnout. This is a direct output of two key components we looked at, the energy audit core component and the daily traction momentum engine. They work together to ensure that progress is fueled by sustainable energy management, not by just depleting your reserves. And the final system-enabled outcome, creating opportunity without starting from zero. The architectural through-line of this whole playbook is leveraging what you already possess. By auditing and redeploying existing skills and results, the goal is to shift from a position of seeking opportunities to one of creating them. And that brings us to the governing principle of the entire design, which is really the key takeaway from this briefing. Sustainable change requires system redesign, not willpower. Ultimately, this playbook approaches professional transition not as a test of motivation, but as an engineering problem that can be solved with the right architecture. Thank you for your time.